Hi there, I'm Stasha, the period coach, founder of Period Coaching School and author of The Revolution Will Be Bloody. And I'm here today to talk to my business coaches. So if you're a health coach or a relationship coach or a period coach, want to become a period coach exclusively, I've got videos for you as well. But today I'm going to focus in on my business coaches. So if that's you, it's very nice to meet you, and let's dive in. So, how did I become a business coach in the midst of everything? I started off as a health coach, certified holistic health coach, and I started seeing athletes. I was a dancer, so I started working with athletes. The athletes all had period problems. Because I have endometriosis and I spend a lot of years, like 20 years, trying to sort out my own endometriosis, I learned a lot about periods along the way. I helped all my athletes. They all got better. They had less period issues. All of these things started to really feel better for them. So I thought I'll focus in on period coaching. So I focused in on just doing hormonal balance coaching for women. And then that sort of turned out to be business coaching because they all had businesses. And we started doing their business in flow because I had to. And I had been experimenting on myself. See, with endometriosis, you spend a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks out of the month essentially useless. The fatigue, the brain fog, the pain. I spent about 3 to 4 days on the floor of my bathroom, throwing up, in pain, sobbing, begging for sweet death. And then I had to spend a couple days after that recovering from it. So quite literally spent 5 to 7 days a week where I really couldn't eat, really couldn't function, really, I drugged myself and went to work, but it was unpleasant and I spent a lot of time in the bathrooms. So sorry to coworkers out there in the past. But the plus side of that was that I realized I've got about 2 weeks a month that I can run a business. How do I run a business that it's profitable in half of the time everyone else is taking, or even less, because a lot of people run their businesses as if their hair is on fire, working 14-hour days, 7 days a week. So I had no desire to do that. I didn't want to burn out. I didn't want to overstress myself, and I didn't want to make the endo worse. So I had to figure out how to run my business in flow, and I did. And I experimented on my clients, who were all up for it, by the way. And then we realized their businesses, the employee retention rate was so much longer and more successful. The productivity rates went up. The bottom line, the profitable margins went up. So we saw all these great incremental results for their businesses, even a few marriages saved along the way. There were some business partnerships. So working with these women and their flow and their businesses really informed how the menstrual cycle is such an ally and powerful tool in running your business. So then I started business coaching for Ryan Eliason here in the United States. He's a multi-7-figure business coach. And he was looking for volunteers to run the Facebook group. And I had taken a program with him beforehand, and one of his employees asked me if I would want to do it. So I started doing Facebook business coaching in his communities, which are about 1,000 people a year in each group. And then when he did his, 5-figure plus master classes, Visionary Business Mastery, I came on as a one-on-one business coach for the clients in there. So doing group coaching for our masterminds and our Q&A sessions with the entire community, doing one-on-one coaching with a section of the community. There were a couple other coaches as well. So I spent a lot of time doing very pure business coaching for heart-centered entrepreneurs. His whole shtick is people who want to improve the world and helping them run a business to improve the world. Being able to do the period coaching school now, where I'm helping people who want to incorporate period coaching into their businesses, and being able to help them run their businesses with flow, whether it's their literal menstrual flow or the moon flow, doesn't really matter, but being able to help them run their businesses with their cycles, with where they feel the best, identifying those kinds of things, and then I'm really helping them resort their business so that it's running far more efficiently, getting more done in less time, has just been absolutely a privilege. I can't put it any other way. It's just been an absolute privilege for me. So I took what was breaking me and turned it into an asset, an ally, a place of power. So I often say I've taken it from broken to brilliant. And my story is one of transformation and using that as an ally and as a tool to get more done in less time, make more money, get more free time, get more life, get more enjoyment, and actually enjoy the work in your business so that when you're in there sitting down to work, you're stoked about it, right? So I'm going to take you through this journey today, and we're going to start off with identifying hormonal imbalances for your clients. So business PMS. Something that I noticed with my very first hormonal balance coaching clients who happen to have businesses was that sometimes their PMS showed up in different places than, say, an average person who just works a 9 to 5 or works a normal job. They had there's a lot more mindset issues when you're running your own business. And when you have a hormonal imbalance, a lot of that comes out in your business versus just the typical things you would see every day. So, you still see bloating and cramping and mind fog and fatigue and these kinds of things. But when you're a business coach, you're more likely to see the business PMS in your clients. So take care to note these kinds of things when your clients are chatting with you. So if they're struggling, say staring blankly at the screen, it's just like, oh, I don't know what to do. I just felt paralyzed, or I felt frozen, or I felt like I couldn't get anything done. I couldn't cross anything off the list. I couldn't find the words. I couldn't figure out the branding, whatever it is. So if you see them in this kind of paralyzed space and it's happening, say, a week out of the month or a few days out of the month every month, this is really a clear indicator that there's some business PMS. Quitting in a huff. When it's a regular, reoccurring pattern of, I just don't think I can do this. I just don't think I can do this. I don't think I'm built for this. This just isn't for me. That might be true. But if you see it coming up regularly and the rest of the time they're really stoked to work on their business and they're really excited for what they're doing, then it's more likely business PMS presenting a hormonal imbalance rather than actual mindset issues. Re-niching out of desperation or rebranding out of desperation. These kinds of continuous re-niching, continuous rebranding, where again, it's coming up cyclically. Keep an eye on a reoccurring re-niching and rebranding pattern. Brain fog and the next one, fatigue, are both really common. They're very common PMS symptoms. And sometimes people don't notice them, but when they're running their business, they tend to notice them more. So if they're running their own business, oftentimes they'll express frustration at the brain fog or the fatigue. I had so much to do this week and I got nothing done. It's unlikely. I'm sure they got something done. It just doesn't feel like it because of the hormonal imbalance and the unawareness as well. Not knowing what your cycle does and how it transforms your body throughout the month also plays with you. So if you know that you have a confident phase and that after that, the artificial boost of hormones that gave you excess confidence disappears and dissipates, we often find ourselves blaming ourselves for our lack of productivity when in reality we are doing just fine. It's just that confidence ebb and flow with our hormones happens. And that sometimes will translate into fatigue symptoms, brain fog symptoms. And sometimes that's true, and sometimes it's a hormonal imbalance, and sometimes it's not really true. It's just that shift of the hormones. But those are two really good indicators. And if you ask your clients a few further questions, how often does this happen? How badly is the fatigue? How much start charting with them, you'll really be able to tell which direction it's going. Is this a hormonal imbalance or is it a simple lack of awareness on what's happening in their bodies? And then lastly, the roller coaster. So there's a lot more symptoms, but these are the biggest ones I've seen in clients. The roller coaster of like, I'm on top of the world and then I'm an absolute failure. And if you see that roller coaster happening, I almost guarantee you it's ovulation, premenstrual, luteal phase issues. It's too high highs and too low lows that are causing this roller coaster. So if you see clients who are like, I'm doing a podcast and I'm writing a book and I'm making a card deck and I'm starting a new membership and I'm doing a free e-series, and then 2 weeks later, they're like, I'm an absolute failure and I can't do anything right. you've got business PMS. So then the flip side of the coin is when you've got a client whose business is in flow, or you yourself have a business that is in flow, some of the things that you're looking at are these key being in flow signals. So knowing where you are and where you're going next confidently. So even in those luteal phases where you're getting closer to menstruation, you're still feeling confident. You may have moments, you may have like, oh God, this is overwhelming and frustrating, and that's okay. That's hormones, that's fine. But you still know that you know what's coming next because you've made a great plan in flow. You've carried out that plan in flow, and you can always fall back on, I know that I know what's coming next, and I know I can get there. So you know where you are in your cycle and in your business. You know where you're going next in your cycle and your business, and you feel confident about being set up, prepared for it. The next one is creating business plans and systems that are congruent with your vision. I am a firm believer that the menstrual phase is one of the most important phases for your business because it's the time when you connect to your vision, your big picture. And if you're using your menstrual phase every cycle to really connect with that vision, then you can map out your business and you can see, oh, that's a shiny object. That's a distraction. This is a real clear path or a real clear way on my path to what I really truly want. So it's a lot easier to be discerning. It's a lot easier to make decisions. It's a lot easier to avoid running off the rails. It helps you really stay congruent, and then you can make those business plans and you can put those systems in place that keep you on track, and you do it every month. So you're constantly checking in and you're constantly getting rid of and adding in the things that are really ideally in congruence and alignment with what you want most. Understanding and planning your needs and desires. So when you know where you are in your cycle, you know where you're going next in your cycle, you know exactly what you need today and what you're going to need tomorrow. You know what you need for your business today and what you're going to need for your business tomorrow, right? So I know that when I'm in deep luteal, I have a little bit of energy in which I can do some around the house mundane things. Oftentimes that's when I go, okay, perfect time to wash the clothes that I want to record in for follicular, which will be coming in about a week or so. I want to be ready as soon as that follicular energy hits. So I often take that deep luteal premenstrual time to prepare and set myself up for follicular, so I don't have to think about a thing in follicular except for knocking out really quality work, right? So when you understand where you are in your cycle, in your business, what your needs are, you're planning your needs, you can also plan your desires, which brings me to our last point here. You're in action, not reaction. So instead of spending time reacting to putting out all these fires and, oh my God, I don't have any shirts to wear to record, you actually have everything ready to go. You're in action, not reaction mode. And you know that the only way to get forward in your business is to be in action, not constant reaction. So that's the basic gist of what you're looking for in clients and what you want to see as results for your clients. Here's the general gist of what a cycle is at a glance. So this is what you're looking at in your clients. You've got these 5 phases. Now, to be fair, they are 4 phases in most models, but I break up the luteal into 2 sections, luteal and then deep luteal. So we'll start with menstrual. This is about 5 to 7 days long. It's that time where you have very base hormones. Everything is kind of flatlined in menstruation. It's the winter phase. So think about that energetically. What are those kinds of winter tasks for your business? Kind of behind the scenes stuff, plotting, planning, visioning, that kind of thing. So that incubated inner work, perfect for menstrual. Follicular comes next. It's your springtime. The energy is growing. The hormones are rising. It's about 7 days long. It really feels like this big boost. And because of that, you're doing more system thinking, right? So you can see those more tech needs, those system things, fill in the blanks. You're just a lot more confident and capable of those kinds of things. Ovulation is very much a do phase. It's 3 to 4 days long, depending, but it's your peak estrogen, it's your peak testosterone, it's your peak confidence, it's your peak verbal skills. So it's that summertime feeling, that extroverted energy, that outer work. It's great for networking, recording, getting those kinds of outer things done. Luteal is when we're moving into late summer. So kind of think of it as those like long days where you're bringing in the harvest and you're packing things up. It's still work getting done, but you're kind of tying up the loose ends, right? Like you're canning and storing the amazing things you produced over the spring and summer. So you're wrapping up the loose ends. You're still getting things done. You're preparing for winter, right? You're feathering your nest, getting things ready for your deep luteal and menstrual phases, even follicular phases, so that you can really just roll into the next couple of weeks easily. And then that deep luteal is where you'll see PMS if there's a hormonal imbalance, and 90% of menstruators have hormonal imbalances. So it's very likely that in these 4-ish days before menstruation, you'll see that business PMS signs, as well as normal PMS signs: bloating, irritability, mood swings, fatigue, all that kind of stuff will oftentimes go along with it. But this is really that autumn fall phase where now it's time to, start turning inwards, truly starting to rest, starting to relax. The days are getting shorter, the nights are getting longer, so you're turning more inward. So think about those energies with your clients and all the tasks that we have to do with our businesses, from launching to graphics to copywriting, recording, connecting with clients, all of these things. And if they're more extroverted or introverted work, if they're more outer world work or more inner world work, one of the first things we check in celebrations. And where are you in your cycle? So we can pull in, what their homework is going to be, what they're going to be working on for the next 2 weeks, those kinds of things, and make sure it's in alignment with their menstrual cycle so that they come out feeling really confident and successful from every phase, instead of feeling like, oh, I rocked it last week, but this time now I'm just sucking terribly. I don't think this is for me, right? So we want to give them as much confidence and as many tools as they can to really succeed at being in business. So here's just a little quickie chart on one of my systems, and we go into this much deeper in the school, but I think it's a little bit enough that you as a business coach can get an idea of how to do this with your clients. So I have the what, why, how, do method. I often call it what would Hermione do, because she's smart and thinks things through. But we start in the what phase. So this is your luteal phases: what's working, what's not working, do your reporting, do your numbers, do all that kind of stuff in this phase. And then what's working for your business? What are the programs that are working? What are the programs that aren't working? What are the marketing that's working? What's not? Really going through and assessing what's working and what's not working. And then you've got why. This is your menstrual phase. Why is it working? Why is it not working? You're taking the time to really look at that. So you don't have to do anything in the luteal phase. There's no judgment process in luteal. It's already kind of a judgy time. So pull the judgment out and then take it into the menstrual phase and go, okay, well, why isn't it working? Because the hormonal shift happens, you're going to be less attacking and doubtful and self-flagellating in menstrual. And oftentimes you can just kind of pull back, see that bigger picture, take that weight off, and really just get a good assessment. So why is it working? Why is it not working? And both sides of the coins. I don't ever want to see clients who are just doing what's not working. I want to see what is and what isn't. So we go down both lines of questioning, and there's lots of more questions that you can get in there. But those are just 2 key ones. And then we go into how, so the follicular phase. All right, now how are we going to do it? So how are we going to take what is working and make it better? How are we going to take what isn't working and make it work? Or do we get rid of it? Do we automate, systemate, delegate? There's all of these different ways of dealing with things. And in that strategy, how follicular phase, it's a great time to sort it out. And then in ovulation, we do. So if you have to have tough conversations, if you have to eliminate something, kill your darlings, as it's said in the writing industry, you can do that in your ovulation phase a lot more because you have that boost of extra confidence in that phase. So you as business coaches, being here talking about period coaching for your clients means you're a visionary. You're a pioneer in your field. You can see things that most people are still burying their heads in the sand during, right? Most people don't want to talk about periods. It's gross, ew, TMI, blah, blah, blah. So you're a visionary, you're a pioneer, you're somebody who's out in the forefront, who's often an early adopter of things that turn out to be really freaking awesome and successful, and it's no different here. So congratulate yourself on just being able to see things clearly and taboo-free lens and really taking it to the next level and helping a lot more people than just yourself. The thing about period coaching is that it's a wide open field. So if you're a business coach who has period coaching certification, you really have an upper level to everyone else in your field. There are not a lot of business coaches that have this area of expertise. So, I know we need more business coaches in the world because we have more people joining into the entrepreneurial space constantly, especially after 2020. So we need more business coaches. We need more people who can really help everyone step up, but we also need them to be doing it with the eye on avoiding burnout, using your cycle, using every tool in your toolbox, which your cycle is full of tools to take it to that next level, to be really good at it. So this is a huge wide open field. No matter what your niche is in business coaching, you're going to see a doubling that or quadrupling of that in the fact that there are infinite niches. There are so many ways and directions that you can go with business coaching and period coaching, and combining that to set yourself apart. In the field of poppies, be the tall poppy, right? So this is just a little diagram that I put together of some ideas. So literally off the top of my head, with what could fit on a slide where you could still read it. So your business niche is mindset. You do mindset for entrepreneurs, and your entrepreneurs, maybe you have PMDD, or you've had friends who've struggled with PMDD and you see how debilitating it can be. Maybe you decide, I'm going to do mindset business coaching for clients with PMDD. That is a niche. That's a huge niche. I can tell you right now that it's a far bigger niche than you think it is. PMDD is a vastly underdiagnosed and rapidly climbing because it doesn't involve invasive surgeries to confirm. So it's getting diagnosed more and more and more. So it's going to be a growing field as well. But then, it could be things like visibility in menopause, right? I mean, menopause is when a woman has absolutely no more value to society. If you can't make babies, you are useless, right? That's the messaging that all menstruators get as far as their cycles are disgusting. Keep that shit to yourself. We don't want to talk about it. But also when it's over, then you're truly useless. So it's a real crazy mindset to be in, just to live, and then to be visible through that, to have a business where you're promoting yourself and your work and what you're doing. I mean, oh my God, cluster. So menopause and visibility could be one in and of itself. So anyway, there's lots of different ways you can do it, and really whatever your business niche is, you can take it to a period niche, or you can even just do it in flow. So one of our very first year students to graduate does launching in flow as her business. So she teaches people how to launch their programs, their businesses, whatever they're launching, but to do it with their cycle so that they can have a really chill, lazy launch. Now, when you do this, when you come into the period coaching world, you come into a community of people. I personally think most of us are very rad. The community is fantastic. It's great for support. It's great to help ask questions and, just in general have people who understand the same language and what's going on and lingo and those kinds of things, which oftentimes leads to collaboration. It's something I certainly encourage in the school with my students. Collaboration, I think, is super important. And for all of us, you can't build a business in a bubble by yourself. You need help, you need support, and collaboration is what makes your business grow quicker. And at the end of the day, it's very fulfilling work. It's one thing to help people get their businesses together and up and running and really take off. But when you can do that and help balance their hormones, so balancing business and hormones at the same time, you see a huge change for the better. You see your clients going not just from being successful business owners to having so much more clarity and confidence and feeling so much more powerful and in alignment. And it's truly fulfilling work. I didn't set out to save lives with this work, but I have gotten emails from people saying that that's exactly what happened. So it's a pretty, it feels good. So at the end of the day, remember your menstruating clients can be damaged if you're giving them the improper homework at the improper time. They're going to feel like they're failures. They're going to quit. They're going to feel like they can't get ahead. They're going to have a lot more confidence issues, a lot more mindset issues, and their hormones are going to get way more out of whack. And eventually that PMS will turn into PMDD. Making sure that you're talking to your clients in flow with their cycles and giving them homework that goes in flow with their cycles is essential. They need the education, which means you need the education, but they need you to help them. So get in there, learn what you need to, and help your clients in the best way possible. So how do you get from zero to period coaching? You start with charting. So you learn the lingo, you learn what charting is, you learn how to do it, you learn what's essential, what's not essential, and especially for your business clients, you're going to have some differences. So what you're going to want for charting for yourself, for your clients, you start with yourself, work on yourself, get yourself moving into flow, your lifestyle into flow, get kind of that feel of how things work, practice on your business, practice on the clients, and then let, of course, the world know. So it's a progression where you just move into bigger and bigger circles. You're working with yourself and then to one person to multiple people. So it's the same progression that you do as a business coach. You start with your own learning, you start with your own business, you start with one client, you start with a full roster of one-on-one clients, and then you can move into that group coaching. And it's that same progress that you do with a period coaching. It's just a different set of knowledge and integrating it differently. So this is the part that I invite you to join the period coaching school. I'd love to see you inside, really learning these tools and the systems from front to back, really learning how everything works, using it on yourselves, your businesses, starting to work with clients, especially in a community where we can help you, where you can ask questions, where you can say, hey, I've got this client who's struggling with this thing, and we can all come together and help you work it out, have that support that you need, and learn all of the tools that you need to take to your clients. There's 5 steps to getting into this flow space. Again, we start with that charting and observation system, and you're going to do that in the first part of school, where you're going to learn how to chart, where you're going to learn how to use all of your senses to come into balance. You're going to observe your own body, your own reactions, how things work for you. Again, moon or menstrual. You're going to start planning in flow, so you're going to start using that knowledge to make some plans that are action, not reaction, right? So you're planning and flow, you're anticipating what your needs and your wants are going to be from week to week to the next week to the next. You'll have the mastermind component, so you can come and ask questions, get information, education and collaboration. So as you're learning about yourselves, your own business, and these period coaching things, you're also learning about everyone else's business, and you can start collaborating with people. You know what? I'd love to promote your product to my clients and vice versa. So you can really start collaborating and using this educational space to expand, right? And this is going to be empowering for both you and your clients, which just leads to freedom. It's a value that I hold very dear and near to my heart. I don't have the words for what it feels like when you finally understand your cycle and you know what's coming next, and you aren't ashamed or embarrassed or captive to this roller coaster. There is such a profound sense of freedom that you just don't know until you experience it, and your clients are never going to know until they experience it either. So really getting to that freedom stage, you feel it one day, you just go, holy crap, I feel so good. And it's an incredible place to be in. And of course, I'd love to see you inside. So if this sounds like something you want, something you need, then I'd love to see you go to periodcoachingschool.com/apply. You'll sign, pop your email in and your name, and then you'll get in your email a link to schedule a call with me and a link to a quick 2-question survey. And we'll just have a chat and make sure that this is a good fit for you. Again, I don't want to enroll people who don't need it, or it's not really something that's an asset for their business. I want people who are going to graduate, be stoked about this work, go out there, talk about it, engage with it, use it, successfully, right? I want successful period coaches out there in the world doing work that they really love and feel empowered and passionate about. So let's talk about it, make sure it's a good fit for you, and then we'll get you in enrolling. So the only thing is, it's not for you if you're looking for supplements, pills to pop, ways to bypass, ways to shut down our bodies, ways to shut down our cycles, ways to avoid. That's not what we're going to do. We're full on turning around, embracing the flow, embracing the cycle, and using it to our advantage, using it as a power source instead of a shame source. So if that sounds good to you, then it's probably a good fit. So hit the application button, come and talk to me, and let's get you enrolled. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you inside.